January was a big month, and it was a month full of changes, and I'm hoping to take even bigger strides in the months following. Hey guys, it's Dan, and welcome back to another video here on Debt with Dan. I hope you all are doing well. It's been a little bit since my last video, but that just is because I've been super busy and trying to do some extra work to bring in some extra income. But with January coming to an end, I feel like it's time to go ahead and take a look at what I spent it on, any surprises, how things are looking, and what I'll be doing differently in the month going forward into February. So let's get into the meat and potatoes. How much I've made in January to kind of help me be able to budget and work with and be able to pay down my debts. So from my main job, my first paycheck was $1,455.01. And the second paycheck I got was $1,473.44. I will total everything at the end, so I don't have individual numbers, but that's what I got from the first job. The side job, I made $600 the first round, and the second time I got paid from that job, I made $450. So that's the main income. Let's look at some additional stuff that I got. So the smallest deposit that I got, or amount that went into my account, was $49, and that was just some extra cash that I had laying around. Next, I had $300 from dog sitting. That's where I actually recorded a couple of videos when I started this channel, was for while I was doing some dog sitting. Next was $700. I actually sold one of my cameras, my DJI Osmo Pocket 3. I sold that for $700 just because I wasn't really using it, and instead of it just sitting around not making me any money, I might as well sell it to somebody that can use it and get a little extra cash to help me get out of debt. And the last little thing that I got that made me some money was I actually got the second half of my Christmas bonus from my main job. I threw that in the miscellaneous category because that isn't something that I get all of the time. I just had that, but I ended up getting $1,297.47 from that bonus. So in total, I got and brought home $6,324.92. So that's what I brought home, and it was a really big month. That's actually one of the biggest months that I've ever had as far as income and how much I'm making. So that was really, really beneficial. So let's go ahead and work into the spending breakdown. I'm going to kind of give you the whole number, where it all went, and things like that. So my total spent was $6,472.24, which is greater than what I brought in, but we're going to cover that as we go. So where did I spend my money? I spent $1,002.85 on housing. That is my rent, my electricity, my internet, and all of those things. All of those go into housing. And the next category is personal spending. This is for like my subscriptions and personal needs and things like that. So that went to $307.15. The next category is food. I have this one split between eating out and groceries. So for groceries, I spent $211.93, which I think is phenomenal. That's exactly where I want to be. But when it comes to eating out, that's where I really, really screwed up. I spent a total of $607.38 eating out, which is disgusting. I didn't even realize that I had spent that much, but a lot of it is because, one, I was dog sitting and I didn't have anything that I could make because everything was gone while they were on vacation. So I did have to eat out a decent little bit there. I did about halfway through go and pick up some groceries and whatnot to kind of help me be able to get by and hopefully not spend as much, as well as I went out on 3 first dates. So that number should ideally be, without those dates, I would say about $200-ish less. So I would have only spent like $407. But yeah, that's way, way, way too high. and that's something I want to work on, but we will cover that later. The last category, as far as where my spending went, was to loans. This is credit cards, student loans, things like that. I spent a total of $4,080.39 towards my loans. So let's go into any surprises as far as things that I was not anticipating and what kind of transpired that was beneficial or detrimental. So first thing that was really good is I didn't expect to make an extra $1,000, which was the $300 for dog sitting and the $700 for the camera. I actually anticipated doing the dog sitting for free just because it's a friend of mine that I see his family and they were out of town. So I was like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. I don't really mind. It gives me somewhere to be and away from my neighbor, which may be a story to come later. But yeah, I made $300 from that. And then on the day that I came home, I had somebody talk to me about buying that camera and got that $700. So that was a really, really pleasant little addition. And I used both that $300 and $700, that $1,000 total, to go directly towards one of my credit cards to work on paying it off via the debt snowball method. And yeah, so that money went in and went right back out. The next surprise was how much I ate out and how much money that was. And that was just astonishing. I don't want to be doing that much at all. Ideally, I'd like to cut back on eating out, but I'm going to level with you all. I am not a good cook. I don't really know how to cook. And yeah, I want to cut back on it. I definitely don't anticipate spending $600 on eating out again. But I do want to try and cut back. I'm going to budget for $100, but we're going to see how that goes and try to find a happy medium. But yeah, that was a big surprise that kind of felt like a gut punch, but it is what it is. We are past it now, and we just have to figure out how to do better going forward. The next and last surprise was my electricity bill was way, way, way more than expected. Typically, I do know that in my apartment, I have electric heat, and that is going to be a little bit more expensive, but we've actually had a really, really warm winter. As well, I was gone for almost 2.5, 3 weeks from my place, and the only thing that was on was my refrigerator. So I'm not really sure how that bill went so high. I am budgeting for that much going into February, but that really bothers me. I may end up calling if this month is extremely high again, because $175 seems way too much. I've never spent over $150 on electricity, especially when I'm gone. So that was pretty painful, and that's kind of part of the reason that I went over budget. But yeah, so we're planning for that going forward. But grand total, how much did we go up in debt or how much did we go down? So thankfully for the month of January, my overall debt expense and debt value that I have went down $2,852.61. I'll put a number up on screen now, I forgot to write it down, but just kind of signifying how much debt I am in. Now that has come down, so that is super, super great. I'm very, very thankful for that. I'm glad to have a month where we are bringing that debt down and we are slowly but surely making some progress with this. And for those of you that may just be kind of catching this, I am working to try and do the debt snowball method, where I take my smallest debt, pay it off, throw that money into the next debt, attack it with volition, and so on and so forth. But this was a very, very great stride for me. So I'm very, very grateful for that. I'm glad to see that number going down and not up, but that just gives me more fuel to keep going. But after that, what are some things that I'm going to do differently as far as budgeting or earning money or spending money to go forward? One thing I'm looking at doing is, of course, trying to eat out even less. I really, really want to see that number shrink, if not go to zero. I don't really think that's a possibility for me, just with a lot of the stuff that I have going on. I end up not coming home until 7, 8 o'clock at night, and it's just not super feasible for me. Unfortunately, with all the work that I have been doing, I'm making more money, but it is causing me to eat out a decent little bit more than I would like to. So that's one thing we're going to try to do, as well as I'm going to look at potentially doing a lump sum payment to my debt at the end of the month. I may implement that in March just because I want to try and do a little bit better of a job managing my stuff in February, because I know how my brain works. And if I have it, I won't think about how I can apply it to debt and do things like that. But I want to run February one more month normally how I am and kind of figure out if I can continue to do that method or if I need to set everything aside. And then at the end of the month, once everything is paid, go ahead and make a big lump sum, because that's kind of a problem that I ran into in January. Is any extra dollar, when I would calculate it out, would go straight into paying down that credit card that I have and working for that one to try and get it to go away. But come towards the end of the month, when I had no more money coming in and I needed to buy some groceries and some personal products, that kind of caused that balance to go up a little bit more and kind of hurt me in the long run. So we're going to look at trying to do one more month where when it comes in, it goes out. And then if that is not working the way that I want it to, I'm just going to put everything into a savings account. And at the end of the month, throw that at a debt and just try to make one big payment. So that's what I'm looking at. That's what I'm going to try to do. But that is my financial recap for the month of January. And I think it was a really, really good start to 2026 and to help me get out of debt. Seeing those numbers go down really gave me some more fuel on the fire to help me be able to really stay strong in this, because I'm not going to lie, if it was another month that it went up, it probably would have destroyed me and been like, all right, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to give up, which I don't know, may have happened, might not have happened, but I'm just glad to see that number go down and not be something that I'm worried about. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and continue with where I am and try to get out of debt. So yeah, you guys, I hope that you did enjoy this video. Let me know if there's any tips, advice, or recommendations for me to continue this journey. So far going into February, it's looking like a pretty good month, and I can't wait to share that information with you guys going forward. But yeah, you guys, thank you all for taking the time to watch this video. I hope you did enjoy. I hope you are learning something or just getting some enjoyment out of hearing me talk about my finances and my journey and what I can do to become debt free. I'm hoping to do this in 1 year. I don't think it's going to happen, but I definitely want to make a big enough stride to where going into 2027, I don't feel like I'm drowning. At least I'm kind of taking some strides and keeping myself afloat. So yeah, you guys, thank you all for watching. I can't wait to make some more videos for you guys and share some of my insight and pros and cons of what I'm doing and just get some feedback from you guys. But thank you all for watching. My name is Dan, and I'll catch you in another video. Bye.